Now on Talking Solutions, Zakeisha Steele-Jones is with us from the Shade Tree Shelter, and back for a second year, Kathleen Hobbits. It's time for the Shade Tree Hero Walk again. I feel like you guys were just here.
I know, it definitely did go by fast.
Talking about domestic violence, we need to shine a light on it.
That's what we try to do at the Shade Tree. You know, we use our platform to bring awareness, to fight, to end domestic violence. We do our best to provide resources for those who've been impacted. Families are being impacted, mothers, children, and that's why we are there to help during those times of crisis.
We're really glad to have Shade Tree as one of the charity recipients of Divas Day Out.
We were very excited about that too. It was an awesome event. I can't believe how many women showed up.
It's a lot of fun every year. I love to go. The charity component was new for us this year. Shade Tree and also our friends with AFAN. It was great to be able to do a little bit more.
It was nice to see so many women out there supporting our nonprofit organization because that's what our focus is. It's on women and their families and their pets with NOAAs. So it was nice to get that support from a female base.
Absolutely. We need to remind everybody how prevalent domestic violence is nationally. What is it? 1
in 3. The numbers are actually staggering, and we're also bringing awareness to the violence that happens in teen relationships. That's something that we need to be aware of, parents, teachers, just to be able to identify what's going on in those young relationships too, because that's what carries on to domestic violence in adult relationships.
Zakeisha, you're very right. I think back to a boyfriend that I had in high school, and the one time that we had an issue, his dad was nearby and put a stop to it right away. But I think that's what you have to do. You have to let the kids know when they're young, when they are exhibiting that kind of behavior, that that is not the way we do things. That is not acceptable.
We have to set the boundaries. We have to promote that love has a great deal of respect around it. That's what we're trying to teach. We also teach that in our life skills classes at the Shade Tree. So when women come in, and we also have unaccompanied minors who come in, teenagers, we have seniors, domestic violence impacts a great deal of our population.
You've got these families coming in on a daily basis. 12 to 15
families
every
on average
day.
Every day impacted by domestic violence as well as human trafficking. So there's a gamut of reasons why women come to the Shade Tree, but most are victims.
And when they come to the Shade Tree, I'm believing that in most cases, they drop everything to get themselves, the kids, if pets are involved, bring them along too, and basically with nothing else.
And that's why our community, when they come together and they drop off those donations, clothing, onesies for babies, any kind of underwear, just the basics. Like you said, they leave with nothing most of the time. And so they're not thinking about socks and pajamas and those kind of things. So in addition to those that are helping us raise money for the Hero Walk, those in our community that send over donations that are clothing, gently used toys, all of those things are really super important to make sure when our families arrive that we have the resources that they need to feel at home in a sense.
Exactly. And in most cases, they're dropping everything because they're not thinking about all the things that they might need down the road. They're just thinking about escaping.
And surviving.
And safety.
Absolutely.
That's what Shade Tree is all about. And you provide services for thousands of people every year. And you guys are on call 24/7.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Annually, we service around 6,500 people. Don't forget, we have young men at the Shade Tree, teenage boys. So when people are thinking, who's at the Shade Tree? Women, their children, teens, babies, pets. Like you said, when violence happens, it impacts the entire family.
And in past, before the existence of Noah's Animal House at the Shade Tree, I've always heard stories that many victims of domestic violence would actually stay with their abuser in fear of what would happen to their animal.
Absolutely. They stay. They will not leave. Animals sometimes are used as a pawn to get women to stay. And we try to put a stop to that with Noah's. If you have a pet, bring the pet right along. The pet doesn't stay in the shelter. The pet has its own shelter to stay in with Noah's Animal House. We want people to know about that because, as you said, that is a hindrance to leaving.
It stops people who are being abused from departing that relationship.
And in addition, when the pets are brought along, it makes the healing process a lot easier.
It does.
Absolutely. We have cuddle rooms. The ladies come into the cuddle rooms and spend time with their pets and feed their pet. We have veterinarians. If there's something that the pet needs as far as medical care, we're able to provide that. So the pets are part of the family too.
And they're just feet away in the same area, right there where the shade tree is at Noah's Animal House. So it's a short walk to go over and hold that pet. That means so much to you and your kids, and spend time. And you're right, Zakeisha, it is part of the healing process. I love Noah's Animal House.
Absolutely. We do too.
One of the reasons we're talking about domestic violence, the shade tree, is that the Hero Walk is again upon us. Saturday, March 11th?
It is Saturday, March 11th in downtown Las Vegas.
Kathleen Hovius is with us, and you are with Timbers.
Timbers Bar and Grill, yes.
And you guys are involved in putting this whole walk on.
Absolutely. We are definitely a sponsor. We continue to support the Shade Tree every year, and we're excited about the event and to be a part of it.
Well, I'm thinking it's got to be similar to last year because it starts in the Llama Lot.
That Llama Lot is owned by Downtown Projects. They have generously donated that lot to us for this event. In return, Downtown Container Park and Gold Spike are two of our sponsors, and the event starts there. 8:30 a.m. is registration. The walk begins at 10. We have some amazing performances and things going on this year. Professional BMX rider Ricardo Laguna.
Oh, yeah, he
and
does
his
all
friends.
kinds of great things.
They'll be setting up some BMX ramps and doing a couple of shows. We also have a appearance from JR Beatbox. He's going to be doing some live entertainment. We'll have some dance crews, vendors. We have some food trucks. A lot of fun, kind of like a festival atmosphere. You can sign up online at shadetree.org for $20. Children under 12 are $10. And wear your favorite superhero costume, or just come in your normal Saturday attire. And we'll be giving out pink capes for everyone to wear with the Shade Tree Hero Walk logo on the back and all of our sponsors on the back. Instead of the traditional t-shirt you might get at most runs, instead you'll get a cape.
I don't have a cape. Great chance to expand the wardrobe with something you're missing at this point.
I know.
It's a pink cape.
Yes.
It's a cute idea.
This is our second annual Hero Walk for the Shade Tree. And one thing that we want to push and promote, when you do a lot of other walks that are themed, not a lot of the proceeds go to the actual charity, but this one is a Shade Tree event. All proceeds, 100% of the proceeds go to the Shade Tree. That's why it's so important, and that's why we're trying to create awareness for the event, get people there, get support behind it, and have some fun doing it.
And the reason, Kathleen, why 100% of the proceeds are available to go to the Shade Tree Shelter is because people like you and Timbers are involved helping put on the event. So you're not relying on someone else to come in and put on the event and give you part of the money.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, I definitely want to thank our sponsors. We had a very generous personal donation of $10,000 from Ronald and Sharon Rivera.
Wow.
Our other major sponsors are Timbers Bar and Grill with 7 locations in Las Vegas, the 8th one on the way. Nevada Donor Network, Credit One Bank. Camp Rhino is going to be also doing a setup, and they'll be the ones doing the warm-up exercise, and they'll also have a setup there at the event, the little obstacle course. The Downtown Container Park, Vector Media, American Web Loan, and 7 Magazine are just some of the sponsors that are really contributing to the event and supporting us.
So that you can raise even more money for Shade Tree Shelter. What we have to do is keep shining a light on it and raising awareness. And like we were discussing just a moment ago, how you have to start with kids and make them understand from the beginning that violent behavior toward another individual, male, female, kids, animals, whatever, is not acceptable. But I know that when people arrive at the Shade Tree, they're starting over.
That's how I see it, and we talk a lot about domestic violence and raising awareness and it being such a tragic topic. But a lot of times when I see the ladies walk into the Shade Tree, there is a tremendous amount of strength in those women. Can you imagine grabbing your kids, getting out, having nowhere to go, accessing your community resources and walking into a shelter for homeless and abused women and children? That takes a lot of strength. These ladies are sometimes for the first time in their lives choosing themselves first, not putting someone else in front of how they envision their lives going. And it's the first step into setting boundaries. And we talk about the youth and dating and relationships. A lot of times I think setting boundaries is kind of that first step to saying, wait a minute, I'm in charge of me. I get the chance to make decisions about myself, and I'm not going to be a victim anymore. So they come in, they get with a case manager, start a plan, because our mission and our vision really is for them to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. And so a lot of times that's empowering them through jobs, starting a new career. And we provide those kind of resources to get them on that track to taking a hold of their own lives and being in charge of what they can be.
There's got to be a lot of pride for every person who leaves the Shade Tree with this new life.
We try to create little moments of celebration because if you've ever done anything hard, I don't know about you guys, but whatever it is, that road seems so long without the fruits of your labor coming to fruition. And so we do little things at the Shade Tree. One thing that comes to mind, Kathleen, I know you like this one, is the Rising Stars ceremony at the Shade Tree, where we highlight women, kids who are achieving their goals, who are on the right track, who are in compliance with their case management plan. And we have a monthly dinner celebrating those folks just to keep them going and say, hey, you know what? You had some struggles. You are doing a great job. And we want to acknowledge that because we all need a pat on the back sometimes. And so those ladies during that ceremony and kids, they get a special dinner, they get a certificate, they get to see and hear the kind words that whoever nominated them at the shelter has to say about them. And there is a sense of pride, like you just mentioned. There is a sense of pride in those ladies.
And I would think that the kind of person who needs to access the services provided by the Shade Tree Shelter, they haven't had those positive words. They haven't had that support system.
They've been trapped. What we do at the Shade Tree is try to broaden their horizons, have them choose their vision for themselves, and we do provide a lot of that positivity.
Zakeisha Steele-Jones is with us from the Shade Tree Shelter. Also, joining us again this year to talk about the Hero Walk to benefit the Shade Tree Shelter, Kathleen Hovietz with Timbers. This is going to be a fun event. I love the way you guys set it up, the fact that the Shade Tree Shelter gets 100% of the money raised.
We love that too.
Yes. Cheers.
Saturday, March 11th, downtown. We're going to make sure, by the way, the links and everything are available on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with the podcast of our discussion. Unfortunately, domestic violence, there's so much of it out there. I don't think there's any doubt that any of us has someone in our circle who is being affected by domestic violence. You talked, Zakeisha, about the strength of the individuals who actually break free from that, stepping out into nothing. But they've got to also have the faith that places like the Shade Tree exist.
Right.
And that when they ask an officer for some help, that the relationship between Metro and places like Shade Tree is so strong, they know where to direct them. And that your door is never closed 24/7 to someone who is the victim of domestic violence and has broken free.
Our doors are always open. Our law enforcement community is pivotal in helping us break the cycle of domestic violence. And we are open 24/7, like you said. So if anyone is out there listening and needs the services or knows someone who needs the services, please just contact the Shade Tree. We'll do our best to help that person in need.
We as a community can help. And Kathleen Hovietz, one of the things we can do is get involved with the Shade Tree Hero Walk, Saturday, March 11th in downtown Las Vegas.
Absolutely. We need everybody to sign up right now. Go online, theshadetree.org. Click the link for the Hero Walk. The entry is only $20 for adults and $10 for kids under 12. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of things going on, festival atmosphere. You get a cape for signing up, and we want you to wear your favorite superhero costume. We're using all the cool hashtags like Be a Hero, and truly that's what it's about. Being a hero for your community, for the women and children and pets at the Shade Tree.
And 100% of the money that is raised with the Shade Tree Annual Hero Walk goes to the Shade Tree.
Yes.
Absolutely. And if walking is not your thing, you can still donate the $20. You can sleep in while we're all walking and still donate the $20 through the Hero Walk link.
We have Raquel Sanchez that wanted to add a button that says Sleepwalker because she's like, sometimes I don't want to wake up that early, but I'll donate the $20 and pretend I was there.
Exactly.
There is a donate now button.
Yep.
I love Raquel.
She is great.
A couple of weeks ago, Scale the Strat. You can be a virtual participant. You don't have to actually run the stairs or walk the stairs. I said, oh, that's my role.
There you go.
Okay, so if I can be a virtual participant in the Hero Walk, how great is that?
That's awesome.
We'll talk to Raquel about getting that button added. The Shade Tree Hero Walk, Saturday, March 11th in downtown Las Vegas. Links and everything you need, and a podcast of today's discussion on our Talking Solutions Facebook page. Now, Zakeisha, this is your first time in with us. I hope you'll be back many times.
I think I will.
We always ask as part of Talking Solutions, what can we do to help you?
The Las Vegas community is a tremendously giving community. And when there is a need, the Las Vegas community comes together. So we rely very heavily on our volunteers, on our corporate donors, on our individual donors to help out. And there's so many ways to do so. Volunteering just to help sort through the things that we get. Volunteering your time in our Children's Activity Center. If you have something that you want to teach the kids or reading to the kids, you can do that. If you have an expertise, we have life skills classes that we always need instructors for. So think of it as your curriculum, our clients. If you know how to teach women to be financially independent, maybe you know how to teach them to journal, because there's a lot of feelings involved in healing at the Shade Tree. I know our volunteer coordinator, Marion, is looking for the extreme couponer to come in and teach the ladies.
I've seen the TV show and it's crazy.
It's crazy, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I know Marion is looking for someone to come in and teach that whole couponing culture to our ladies so that they can make their dollars stretch and they can do more for their families and increase their resources once they're out on their own. If you think that you have something to give, please let us know. Some of our sponsorship opportunities I mentioned before, our Rising Stars ceremony for those thriving at the Shade Tree. It's once per month. It's a special dinner, so we're always looking for food sponsors, florists to sponsor the centerpieces. There's a variety of ways to volunteer. If children are your thing, we have the birthday bunch. Can you imagine spending your birthday as a child in a shelter? For all the kids who are celebrating a birthday in a particular month, we do a group birthday bash, and we have community sponsors of that group birthday party once a month at the Shade Tree. So if you have something you want to do and you're not quite sure if it fits, just email us at volunteer@theshadetree.org. We have a spot for you helping us in administration. There's so many opportunities, but I want to make it clear, we do rely on our community to make the Shade Tree available to those who are in need.
For any person who has been blessed to not have to deal with the issue of domestic violence, or maybe you have in your past, and therefore you know this will never happen again because you won't let it. The Shade Tree, what a great place to volunteer, and you're right, Zakeisha, we do have an incredible community.
We do.
I got to ask you, Kathleen, the same question. What can we do to help you?
Sign up for the Hero Walk or even become a sponsor. Again, every penny of the proceeds from the event are going directly to the shelter. We have a huge goal set, and we definitely want to continue to come back with this event every single year, have more participants, make it bigger and better, and raise as much money as we can for the shelter.
And it's not too late to get involved in this year's Shade Tree Hero Walk, Saturday, March 11th in downtown Las Vegas. Zakeisha Steele-Jones, thank you so much for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you, Terry.
And Kathleen Hobietz with Timbers talking about the Shade Tree Hero Walk on Saturday the 11th in downtown Las Vegas. Thank you for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.